Welcome, I'm Halcyon, this is Hug Nation. Today I want to talk about faith. When I say faith, I don't mean faith in some, higher power personality, some being. I just mean having faith that things will work out. Having faith that there is an order to the universe that is more than I can comprehend in my mind, or more than the comprehension of all human minds put together. It's faith that whatever miracles keep the biology of my body working, that keeps the planets in motion, that turns a seed into a flower, that regulates the oxygen levels in my blood and the wolf pack numbers in wild, that wisdom, that cosmic wisdom is in play, and I believe has a gentle, directive flow towards harmony and love. Individual pieces of it can be extremely violent and horrific and chaotic. And in fact, the pattern within this grand harmony is of order, chaos, order, chaos. Part of my path has been, studying Taoism and a belief in this flow, that there is this Tao, there is this way to the universe, and that sometimes, or always, our objective needs to be to surrender to that way as opposed to think our way through some problem. And I was really in the zone with that philosophy about 3 years ago, and was feeling like, when I needed something, it would arrive, and when I got too bored, an opportunity would come up, and when I thought I might need to get some resources, there'd be a way to make resources. Just like, wow, I'm in the flow, everything's awesome. And it was about that time that I was offered the position at Fresh Realm to be a co-founder and join the executive team. And literally that opportunity just came and knocked my door down. And it was an extremely unique and exciting idea. A big part of it was because here was this traditional mainstream business entity that was interested in trying to integrate my philosophies, or my wisdom, and the, not mine, but the path and the lessons that I have been trying to study and trying to teach and trying to reflect on. This corporate structure was like, we want to bring that into what we're doing. We want to bring that into our company culture, and we want to push that out into the world as we are business. And I was like, yes, that's so awesome. I have no desire to work in an office, but that opportunity is so unusual and so exciting and potentially so world-changing, to wed these two worlds of corporate structure and the way of the Tao and love, gifting, gratitude. And over the course of the next 2.5 years, I was able to have many encouraging and rewarding experiences of bringing in Hug Nation-y type vibe stuff into Fresh Realm. But I also learned some tough lessons, or at least came to some conclusions at this stage where I am in life now, understanding that could change at any moment. And that is that Taoism does not work well with investment-based corporate projects. If you are a corporation and you have investors, you have stockholders, all of those people have very clear expectations of what the company is going to do in terms of growth and in terms of return on their investment. And the Tao is not a line of growth. The Tao is a river that flows and ebbs and follows whatever is perfect. And it is that faith and trust in the Tao that allows, when something happens in your life that you're like, oh, that's not what I wanted to happen, you can go, okay, we're going to roll with it. We're going to see how this is the best thing that could happen. We're going to make the best of this, and in time, hopefully understand why this is a good thing. And at Fresh Realm, we did that in the office a lot. A lot. But from an overall path of a company, you can't do that. There are goals. There are quarterly goals. There are projections. There are sales goals. There are all these growth requirements that are at odds with the idea of a rambling, flowing stream. And I'll be honest, I was a little like, oh man, I don't know how to make this all work. I guess there isn't this, magic equation. I guess you can't just meditate in the office and have faith that the company will succeed. Because what you really have to do is you have to have faith that if the company doesn't succeed, it's still okay. And that is the awareness, the conclusion, the unacceptable perspective from the eyes of a corporation. A corporation cannot have the mentality that it's okay to fail. You can have projects fail, but the entity has to grow and make money for the investors. An individual making a company or a team of investors that are extremely Taoist in their mindset could potentially make a company that allows it to follow the flow. But that is rare, more rare and more challenging than I ever realized. I found that my own trust in the flow, my own faith was not in the strength that it once was. And so when it became time to end my chapter at Fresh Realm, I felt good about it. I felt like this is good timing. I've lost my footing in some ways, and I don't want to let my stumbles affect the whole project, because as I just said, stumbling is not acceptable. So right when I left the corporate world, I went from like days later went to Burning Man. And so went from there to Burning Man, and then I just was like, yes, I am back. I have faith. I have everything I need. If history has shown me anything in my life, it's that when I trust, when I have faith, when I follow my mantra of be present, have integrity, align with love, then whatever path I take, whatever choices I employ, and whatever actions I do from that place of alignment with love and presence, it will lead me to a good place. It will lead me to where I am supposed to be. It may not be the most lucrative. It may not be the most well-known. It may not be the most successful from a traditional definition, but it will be perfect. And I was just like, woo, yeah, I'm back, I'm back, I'm back. And then a few things happened. I went to Bali on a trip, and I had all these ideas that I'm going to get away, I'm going to go to a tropical paradise, and inspiration's going to come. And for the most part, I did not get overwhelmed with brilliance and new ideas. And then I kept putting off the questions that people were asking me of, what are you going to do now? What are you going to do now? I'm like, well, I've got this trip to Bali. And then so I came back from Bali, and I still didn't have a good answer. And then people kept asking, what are you going to do now? It's a well-meaning, kind and polite and loving question. What are you going to do now? And after a while, without a good answer, my faith started to kind of crumble. And at one point, for many years, what are you going to do now? The thought has always been, write my next book. And after being off work for a while and going to travel and not doing much writing, and then if I tell people, oh, I'm working on a book, it seems and it feels so out of integrity. It feels like I'm so lying. I mean, yes, I'm thinking about it. Yes, I'm doing a little bit here and there, but I am not writing a book right now. I'm thinking about writing a book right now, which is not the same. And so like last week I had dinner with my folks, and my dad asked, "What are you gonna do now?" And it wasn't until the next day that I realized how much that had impacted me. I talked to a woman who was an angel. She told me about a new project that she was doing. And I kept asking her questions about how she's going to do this and how she decided to do that. And her answer to everything was, I trusted that the solution would come, and it did. Or I'm trusting that the solution will come, and it will. And I was like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot that used to be my philosophy. I got so hung up on answering the question of what am I going to do now that I lost my own faith. As I was getting ready to go to social events, I started to have this anxious feeling of like, what am I going to tell people I'm doing? I don't want to tell people that I'm writing because I'm not really writing. I literally try to put together some canned answers before I got there so that I didn't get caught in a scenario where I was like, because that's how I felt when my dad asked me it. I was having a tough day in general and wasn't really ready for answering that question. And I kind of went, And so this angel I talked to was such a gift to be reminded that you can have faith. And I used to have faith. And I can still have faith. So I'm feeling once again that I have gone to chaos and back to order, gone to freak out, back to calm. And those things happen many times a day at this stage, as I still am trying to find my footing, find my focus, find my scheduling, and find my discipline. And I recognize, and I think one of the things that contributes to some of my need to cling to an answer is that I'm probably not using all my time as good as I could. And so the old scripts and the old voices on my shoulder about being productive are chiming in. And what I need to do is redefine productivity to include self-care, to include time with loved ones, to include downtime, and have faith that I will have inspiration. Have faith that I will return to a invigorated, creative place. Because you know what? Even as I dabble in the question of have I lost my faith, even as I start to just scratch that faith and feel it returning a little bit, I'm like, oh wait, I'm super excited about awesomenewsnetwork.com. I have been getting ideas about book stuff. So it's a combination of having faith and getting clear myself. Maybe becoming aware of when I spend too much time distracting myself with awesome Netflix shows. But big picture, what I'm saying is, as always, my path has been about remembering and forgetting. And I hope that your path of remembering and forgetting is as enriching and educational as mine is. And if you're in a place of forgetting right now, or if you're in a place right now where gratitude seems not at the top of your mind, where your gifts and your blessings and the love in your life is kind of not a part of your current narrative, give yourself permission to let go of whatever the narrative is and put it back together piece by piece, starting with breath and this moment and this connection and all our connections and every piece of joy that we have available to us. And then create from that place without a need for it to be an answer to the question, what are you going to do now? So, thank you for your patience as I work through this cycle of chaos and order, remembering and forgetting over and over.